Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. I always say that. Background, aerospace, medical implants, materials, printing, and plastic distribution, where we dealt with every possible industry under the sun. Today, we have a very special guest here. His name is Peter Hedgeseth. I think he's been taking a lot of flack for Trump nominating him for DOD. Well, we have something to say. Peter, thank you so much for coming in under your busy schedule. We appreciate you coming in from Washington, and now it's our turn to educate you. We have a couple placards. We don't want to inundate you with everything, but since you're going to be very much enveloped with the DOD, we have a lot to show you. This video today is about Daryl Guberman warns Peter Hedgeseth, DOD's ANSI-ANAB ties compromise national security. By the way, Peter, we were down in April. It was an open door forum at the DHS subcommittee. We stood up and showed, in concert with Sam Salapar, the whistleblower for the Boeing 777-787, who said that they had issues in design issues. Well, in 2009, the FAA gave Boeing a regulatory authority, or made them an agency of the FAA, which they could self-certify their own aircraft, and also new aircraft designs and new aircraft technologies like the MCAS system. So when you hear the DOJ, who sits on ANSI-ANAB's board as a member and also as a customer of them, right over by Boeing, who is a member and also a customer of them, the DOJ said that Boeing lied to the FAA. No, they didn't have to tell the FAA shit, to tell you the truth. And that's a fact. These two pieces of paper show you, along with Sam Salapar, that Boeing relinquished on-site auditing to two pieces of paper. Yes, for 22 years. We have a chart that shows CEO compensation that really shot up because they weren't sending inspection out to their facilities. That would cost you flight time, food, lodging, cars, etc., time out on the road, and they saved money, and they put that money back into the bonuses for the CEO and probably some other places. So we're going to continue on, Peter, and we're going to read this to you first off, and then we're going to hopefully get time for the placards. If not, we'll do video number 2 for you. Hello, my name is Daryl Guberman, Peter, a quality expert with over 40 years experience across aerospace, medical implants, and various industries. Today, I want to address a critical issue that demands the attention of you, the nominee for Department of Defense leadership, and every American concerned about our nation's security. The Department of Defense, a member of the American National Standards Institute, ANSI, and the American National Crediting Board, has been part of a troubling network that includes foreign entities and direct ties to Chinese government between 2015 and 21. A Chinese national, Zhao Jinwu, led the International Accreditation Forum, a body underwritten by ANSI and ANAB, and simultaneously served as the CEO of the China National Accreditation Services, or actually, he was the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services, CNAS. CNAS, for context, is responsible for accrediting institutions like the ill-prepared Wuhan laboratory implicated in the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, here's where the national security risk comes into focus. Under China National Intelligence Law, Article Number 7, all Chinese nationals and organizations are mandated to share data with their government. This means that during Zhao Jinwu's leadership, sensitive information could have been funneled through CNAS and potentially accessed by the Chinese government. Let me give you some examples of these connections which have compromised our nation in the past. In 2009, Lockheed Martin, one of the top military contractors, was hacked by China taking the F-35, and they are a member of both the IAF and ANSI-ANAB. In 2012, a division of the United Technologies Sikorsky aircraft was owned at that time, and they are another company that sat on ANSI-ANAB's board, and they were breached by Chinese hackers. In 2015, when Lockheed purchased Sikorsky, the deal was praised for the meeting international regulatory standards with the approval of China, no less. This isn't just about hacking. It's about how deeply our defense industry is entangled with organizations that fail to ensure secure, impartial accreditation. These vulnerabilities are baked into the system, leaving our most sensitive data at risk. Peter, as the nominee to lead the DOD, you must prioritize addressing these issues. ANSI and ANAB's role as underwriters for the IAF and ILAC, and they are founders of the IAF, as a matter of fact, Peter, mean that they are responsible for any systematic, by them being underwriters, ANSI and ANAB being underwriters, this means they are responsible for any systematic or product failures. This includes security breaches and failures in accreditation practices tied to foreign actors. Our nation's defense cannot afford to ignore these risks. Reforming the accreditation process is not just an operational issue, it's a matter of national security. I urge you, Peter, and all decision makers to take immediate action. Transparency, accountability, and independence in quality standards are essential to safeguarding our nation's future. Thank you for taking the time to hear this critical message. For more information, you can discuss further with me at 203-556-1493. Now, Peter, we're going to show you this. ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental owned organization that has federal agencies and corporations on board. In 2015, Randy Doherty, then the vice president of ANAB, the chairman of the IF, and the principal on the IF tax report, handed over leadership to Zhao Jinwu, a communist Chinese national who has been involved with our quality since 1994. The IAF is incorporated in Delaware. Its sister organization, ILAC, the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, is in Australia. Zhao Jinwu at the time was also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services. That Peter, he certified an ill-prepared laboratory in Wuhan, China. I think I have the information here. ANSI took over complete control over ANAB in 2018, the American National Crediting Board. At the time, between 2015 and 21, why couldn't they? They sat there on the IAF, and they are the founders of the IAF. But nevertheless, in 2015 to 21, the Chinese national was handling that mess. There's over 10 different registrars in China that are accredited by ANSI-ANAB. Do you find anything wrong with cybersecurity? I personally do. Here it is, showing you that ANSI is a founding member with ANAB being an affiliate member of the IAF. And here it is. They're also underwriters, okay? As I told you, they're underwriters of the IAF and ANAB, which means that an underwriter is any party that evaluates and assumes another party's risk for a fee. So any of the accreditation bodies that sit on ANSI-ANAB, or the IAF, ANSI-ANAB is responsible for it because they are underwriters of the IAF. Here's a picture of Zhao Jinwu in the laboratory in 2017, giving an ill-prepared laboratory. They didn't have enough trained technicians, okay? We will get to that. You have Pamela Sale, the vice president of laboratory accreditation, who said under deposition because there was a laboratory issue in Texas. She said, one of the issues is that there is no commonly agreed upon set of standards that forensic labs, I'm going to add these two, forensic labs, bio-level 4 laboratories like Wuhan, phlebotomy labs around the country and the world have to follow. Instead, there are informal guidelines that labs can choose to follow or not. She basically confessed to the release of the COVID virus. Here you go. You have the Department of Defense, DOD, on board, okay? You have Lockheed Martin on board, okay? And then this was in the Connecticut Mirror, okay? This was in the Connecticut Mirror that with China's okay, Lockheed Martin closes in on the purchase of Sikorsky aircraft. Connecticut lawmakers, Rosa DeLauro, Richard Blumenthal, Chris Murphy, and Jim Himes. Basically, what this says over here, I'm deciphering it for you. Chris Murphy, Jim Himes praise our #1 military contractor, Lockheed Martin, for working with communist China. And everybody asked, Daryl, how do you know that they took, come over here, Peter, how do you know that they took the Black Hawk and the F-35? Well, here's the actual counterparts. On this side of the world, you have the Chinese version. On this side of the world, you have the actual product made in America. Do you see any difference, Peter? And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much for coming in. I'm sorry for the speed of this, but I got through it. Just for you, Peter. 203-556-1493. I thank you, and thank you for stopping in. Everybody, have a good day. I look forward to hearing from you.